Hello and welcome back to another KFX animation behind the scenes. I have a different setup now because I'm in another country. But I am very excited to show you this one because this is a bit different from the ones that I've done before. This time I had company. If you follow my channel, you probably noticed that I am a huge fan of the market exit and that we've actually collaborated a couple of times now. I love working with Andrés. I admire his work, and it is always such an inspiration when we have these long calls about work and whatnot. And so I made a couple of shots for his last film in factory farming, which is awesome. Link in the description. And after that, he started working on this huge video about seeds. And the whole video is great. The whole film is great. Go watch it again. Link in the description. And he realized early on that the shots from the farming video could be reused on the seeds video. So I just made a couple of adjustments in characters, but the world was mostly built. And instead of making a behind the scenes on my own, as usual, we decided to make it together where we would have a call and he would ask me about my process while we looked at the project together. This is a very long video, as you can probably see. But don't worry, it's all chaptered in case you want to skip stuff. But you guys are more than welcome to join us here. We would love it. I'll show you the completed scenes first, and then it'll go to the behind the scenes. But first, I really want to thank you guys for being here. It means a lot. I am almost at 10K, which is a huge milestone for me, and I am so grateful. Some of you have asked me for specific subjects and tutorials. Believe me, I have them all in mind, and I'll try to get to all of your questions. And well, let me know if you like this format of me talking to someone else. I would love to do more of it, and maybe invite animators and let it be me doing all the asking. In the meantime, I hope you find this useful, and it really helps when you like, subscribe, share, comment, interact. All those beautiful things help me get to more people and get closer to be able to make this more often. For now, I hope you enjoy it, and see you soon.
These adaptations of wheat came about through what we can call mass selection. Every time farmers planted wheat seeds, the plants that grew had naturally occurring variation, and what farmers did was to simply keep seeds from the plants that best suited their needs in that place.
You might say, well, we're going to replant the seeds from this because it's a short type and we want to encourage a short type. And we're going to replant the seeds from this one because it's the one that didn't get the disease that the other ones got. And so Gregor Mendel was an Austrian monk, but he also had some scientific training. And in the 1850s and 1860s, he was doing a bunch of rather ingeniously designed experiments with pea plants.
So in his experiments, Mendel took pea plants with different visible traits and then he intentionally crossed them. He, for example, crossed plants with yellow peas with plants with green peas, tall plants with short plants, etc. He then carefully recorded what traits appeared in the offspring of these crosses and then what appeared in the generation after that. And then after 7 years of meticulous cataloging over 28,000 plants, Mendel deduced some profound patterns.
He managed to work out on his own a lot.
Oh, I can't wait for you to just walk through all the things you've done here. It's I don't know if there's something in particular you want to focus on, but for me it would be fantastic if you could just also explain how you choose what to have in which precomps, how the nesting. I think it's very what drives your decision to put something in a precomp and to not do it? Is it because all the things will move together? If we could talk about that would be...
Yeah, of course. So we have basically two shots for this new video, which I took from the last video that we worked on together, right? Which is this field video that we had for the monocrops and the farm animals, and the lab shot where we had Fritz. So I left the 3D layout that we already had for those, and I just added a bunch of new things so that they, for the new subject. So, but if you look at the shot one, the field, okay. Characters, for example, I always put characters in a precomp by themselves. And the reason for that is basically just an organizational issue. Because if you go to the character of this farmer, for example, if I unshy this, we have 67 layers, right?
Yeah.
For just one simple character. So imagine if I had this plus the 49 layers that I have here on the main comp, right? And the same goes for the cow. The cow is a rig, right? And the cow has 29 layers. And like, for example, the sheep, the same thing. And the crops are actually 2 layers of precomps. So we have the crops growing, which is the dirt, and the plants growing. But each plant, it's its own precomp.
Yeah. So can I ask you then? Let's say that you have a pre-comp with an animated character, and that's in the pre-comp you have a walk cycle. Let's say, how do you normally work between them? Because then you have to move that pre-comp around in the main comp, so to speak.
Yes. It's not without complication. They've asked me this question before, and the only thing that I can say is that you have to go back and forward all the time. So you need to plan the action of your character very carefully. And it's a lot of trickery to deceive the eye. But usually, okay, so if I'm unsure, what I would do is if you go here and right click and you say new split with new locked viewer, you have 2 screens. And, and then I go to the farmer. And so you can see here, if I need to have a reference, if I move the arm, I can see where it is.
Where did you add the split screen?
Right click. Okay, so let's go back. Let me just close panel. Let's go back to the field. But you need to be outside of every layer, because if you right click and you have a layer underneath, that's not going to give you the option. It's going to give you options for that layer. So you need to go like way outside, right click, and it has new split with new locked viewer. If you have a previous version of After Effects, it might say something different, but it's there.
Let's see what it says somewhere. Yeah, for me it says the same.
And this is just so that you can have a reference. Now, the problem is, if you want this guy to interact with one of these plants, for example, that would be a problem, because the plant itself is in a precomp on a precomp, and the character is in another precomp, and you're just deceiving the eye, right? They're just like inside the main precomp, they're just 2 layers. So we would have to trick it in a way that with masks and things like that. Let's see if we run into this problem here, because we're planning for this guy to plant a seed, right? Also, let me show you the original from this character, because I think it's pretty funny. So this character I got from a public use painting, and this is the original character.
Oh, wow.
This is how it came.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So this is how it came. And basically, like, you have to cut down into pieces, right? The head, the torso, the arm, the forearm, the hand. I used, for example, the feet, the boots that he's wearing. The only one that was more usable, so to speak, was this one. So I just cut this part and I duplicated it, and I cut this part of the leg, and
Yeah.
using different legs I was able to make both legs. And then what I did
Yeah.
is, if you look here on Photoshop, um, the the legs, I did some restoration, like brushing and cloning in Photoshop, so that you don't have patterns that repeat and it's
Oh yeah, yeah. They look
distracting.
like two different legs.
Exactly. So, for example, you can see that I did not do that here. So it's the same layer. But if you go up here,
Mm.
this thing I removed from this one. Otherwise, it becomes very distracting.
Yeah, it's
But
like a next level. I love how you made the head much smaller also.
yeah, that's
It's
what
a,
I was going there, because, okay, so I everyone makes characters in their, there's a taste for everything and there's a style for everything. But I do think that, especially with collage animation, like, you have to mess with the the sizes of things in respect from reality. You know what I mean? So I do think they need to look fake.
mm,
Like, they need to look like it's a character, like it couldn't actually exist, especially if you're using real photographs. And the reason for that is because you fall into this kind of like uncanny valley
yeah.
situation, where if you use the same the same, like in a photograph, if you use the same assets in that photograph and you use the same structural sizes, then it looks kind of weird. If that is what you're going for, obviously, like, stylistically there are no limits. But I think when they look not natural, they look fake. It's kind of like watching a cartoon, like
Yeah.
characters that their bodies look different. And so
I
this
think
is
that seems like a key to me because when I try to do collage animation, I think I failed on this part, and then it becomes like bad. Like it seems like you're trying to do make something look realistic, but you're not. But
hmm
you're failing
hmm
instead for it to look playful. So yeah, that's very interesting. So
yeah.
in what other ways do you usually achieve that effect?
Well, you probably noticed, like, the biggest constraint in 2D animation and collage animation, it's perspective, right? So, because everything is 2D and you cannot always find the assets in the right perspective, like, so if you're not able to make things look realistic, like if you were working on a 3D software and you were doing like a different type of work, embrace the lack of perspective. You know what I mean?
Oh
Make it
wow.
obvious. Make it obvious that it's not right. So everything that looks weird, if you take it the next step, or if you make it obvious that it looks weird and that it's on purpose, to the viewer, like, it causes less of a confusing situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now it's a very good point because it's also very easy to lose a lot of time trying to find the asset that has the perfect perspective as well. Like it's you get more freedom if you also can to choose something for other reasons than that it will just fit exactly into your scene. Could you say something also about so this it's obviously a very beautiful like image of this man that you really did something on your own. Like how did you choose this one? Like where did you find it? Like
Mm.
how many did you look
Le-
at? Because I think a lot of people struggle with finding good assets, me included.
No, no, no. Yeah, okay. Let me give you the. I'm gonna show you the website. I think You're gonna be able to see it. Yeah, we're back to the infinite loop, right? Okay, asset hunting. I have it open all the time. So here, this is a site that I use very often. It's called Raw Pixel. It has a free tier, but I do pay for it because I use it so much that I want to be able to have. And it's not even that expensive. Let me see. I'm on the creative plan. I don't even know how much that is. Let's see. Well, anyway, um, you have a bunch of stuff here, but my favorite part and the reason why I use this one the most is because of, well, especially because of what I do in my style is, check this out. Okay, so if I look for farmer 1800s, right, or something like that, and then you go here on the filters, you can find free and premium or whatnot, but you can find this one that is called public domain. So it's public domain, so anyone can use it. So we're free to grab it, and it has a collection of these amazing like paintings, vintage illustrations. I just find a lot of time here in this website.
Yeah.
Like maybe the 800s, but I find a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and this you have like a lot of, I always do this, like exclude AI image. I hate it, but you can, like, for example, like plant, or yeah, plant. Look at this. You have these beautiful illustrations of plants, right? And
is this where you got the corn plant, or like the plantas as well?
Yes, I usually find pieces and I put them together. I mix everything with everything. But if you go here, for example, and you have the paid subscription, you can even download the PNG file, and it's usually a decent resolution.
Yeah.
This one is kind of small, but it's decent, right? And so this actually saves you a lot of time, because I spend so much of my time cutting stuff in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And you can even download the vector one, which will be a little bit different because you won't have the texture of like the illustration, but it's a vector, so you can resize it to, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I find a lot of stuff here, and it's also very beautiful. I find a lot of stuff here as well. This is public work by Cosmos, but like I said, this is like specific to the kind of thing that I do. I find it very like me.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see your style in this these types of assets.
And
it sounds great.
Yeah, all of this is public, so you can use it however you want. I also use Shutterstock from time to time. I also use a lot of Unsplash. I think we all in the world, we all use Unsplash for certain things. Like I use Unsplash a lot for characters that are not painted, that are like pictures, real pictures. You can find portraits, clothing with high definition in here, and you can like take a bunch of stuff. Like I think I got the farms from here, from this video and the back video, the last video for you, or like a barn. Yeah, look at this. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is. I took this from Unsplash.
Yeah, I remember the statistics about the animals.
Yeah. So it was from here, and maybe I take one of this and one of this, and you just take things from everywhere, and
you create your own small little worlds.
Exactly, it's like playing house.
Yeah.
And then you have like the field, like it's probably like this buildings came from the Unsplash, and probably the grass, I don't remember, but the grass and the mountains, I think they came from raw pixels, and the plant came from raw pixels, etc., etc. And this farmer character came from raw pixel.
Okay, thank you sorry for the
No, it's okay. No, it's fine. You can ask me whatever you need. And so this is my favorite way of making characters. Small heads, long legs, like long limbs in general, right? Like
I remember you did that when you animated me in the smartphone video.
Yeah, like short torso and small feet. I like
Yeah,
small feet. Yeah. And I think it gives it like a little bit of a, I mean, I just like that.
yeah, no
I
hobbits.
Yeah, I that's my go-to proportion wise to make characters. And you can see that as well with the Mendel character that I did here for the other shot, right? Here's Mendel. It's kind of the same principle, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can see the same. It's like very long legs, short head, or small head.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why. I really like that proportion.
Yeah.
Uh, but it works the same. It depends on the purpose of your animation, I guess. But it's like having you can. I've made animations with characters with really huge feet, like unnaturally big feet, and unnaturally big heads,
Mm.
right, and big hands. Like I just said, like you just have to embrace the flaws and embrace the animation and embrace the fact that you're not in the real world, you know?
Mm.
Because sometimes like people ask me that, but it doesn't look real. Well, it's not. It's animation. Like
Yeah,
if you need real, then you should go record it or like have a reenactment or you know what I mean.
yeah, exactly. No,
But if
I totally get that. Can I ask something related to the pre-comp question?
yes,
So let's say here you have a bunch of plants. I mean, there are very many of them. So what you did here, I guess, is that you have one pre-comp nested within all of these with one plant, and then you did one with like a row of plants, and then you duplicated that like along many rows. Like, do you ever, when you decide what to put in pre-comps and how to create many different ones, do you ever think about like render times or like the how heavy the project gets and what drives you to make one decision over another?
I'm very bad at this. So my renders tend to get very heavy, um, and I usually use like huge assets, and I end up scaling them down like 50%, and then yeah. The thing is, I never think about render times until it's too late. Like I kind of like go all the way until like if it's too slow even to work with um, I might think about it, but the way that I have to if it's too much, I make proxies.
Yeah.
Uh, so like for example, if you see here in my folders, like I made the chicken pasture loop.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this is like I animated this to the scene and I pre-rendered it, and now I have a file that's not rendering keyframes frame to frame, but it's just a video.
Yeah. So let's say that the plants would be very heavy, then maybe you would pre-render the nested plant and then
Exactly.
yeah.
Then what I usually do, usually when things tend to get really heavy, it's here when you put in the effects like the color correction and the layers that go on top of everything, right? So here I have let me remove the original character here because it's distracting me. So here, right, you have your, we have this like the finished type of thing, and it's even on, if I put it on full, like it just won't work. It takes like forever to render,
Yeah.
right? Even just one frame. So I have like an overlay of noise, and I have in the effects, I have a dehancer, which is a plugin for color correction, which I love, but it's heavy. It's so heavy that you have to, I do think about using this from time to time. This one takes a lot of space. Optics compensation that I always use to give it a little of a stretching, more of a cinematic look. But the one that I used a lot is the posterized time
Mm.
adjustment layer to give it a chumpy look. that one takes a lot to render. So what I do is I do a to render process.
Yeah.
So I finish
So
the animation,
yeah.
I render the whole thing without, like, in ProRes, so that it doesn't lose quality. I render the whole thing. It takes a while, but then I bring that whole shot and then I render that shot with the effects on top.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because they apply just as fine on the rendered ProRes. It's, to me, it's a bit curious why posterized time would add render time, because you're removing frames, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's the reinterpretation of the framing, right? So the how the render works in After Effects is it reads frame by frame by frame by frame. So it has to think about everything that's happening. So if you put posterized time plus all of the keyframes that you have inside of the animation that it has to read frame by frame, it's just too much, right? It has to reinterpret those timings of those keyframes to 12 or 10 frames per second instead of the 24 or 29 that you're doing natively. So it takes like a bunch of time and it's annoying as hell. And this way, actually, you can, if there's something that you need to fix, but you only need to fix it from second 2 to second 3, you can actually just render a patch, and then rendering the whole thing with all of the effects, it won't take as long as if you would have made it the whole render with all of the effects. You know what I mean?
Could you do that last point again? I didn't really understand that.
Okay, so let's say that we have our proxy already. We rendered this whole shot, and we have the proxy, the dot mov, and we have the effects. But then you realize that you have a mistake or you want to change something, but you want to change something just from here to here.
Yeah. Then I get
And
it.
it's like, damn, if you don't do the to render process, you would have to fix that and then render the whole thing again with the keyframes and the effects and the things. But if you just render that part and make a proxy of that part without the effects, and you bring it back in, then rendering the whole thing again, since you already have a proxy for the whole thing, it would be much faster.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, I understand. I guess the one thing that I worry about when I have a procedure like that is that something that I change will, like, change subsequent things. Like, depends on what I change, of course. But I mean, if you have expressions and stuff like that. But I understand what you mean.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like an error of layers, or like the character moved weird in this part. If it's not a timing issue, like from here to the end, then yeah, you would have to render the whole thing. But if you can just fix that patches, that this makes a lot of sense. But no, I guess you have to figure it out as you go. Sometimes you don't even know how heavy it's gonna get, and so then it's painful. There's nothing that can take this pain away, in my opinion. Like, I had this guy who contacted me, and he was like, how can I make a sustainable way of doing what you do, but to have like 3 reels per day for social media? And I was like, that is absolutely impossible what you're talking about. Like, if you want like handmade mixed media type of thing, and you're redoing it time and time again, I was like, you're gonna burn yourself out to that. Like, there's no way, there are no shortcuts to this. Like, it's painful as it gets. But it's actually kind of like it's the fun part, right? So
yeah, I agree. And I think that's not only for collage animation. I think it's for all types of animations and other creative endeavors. As soon as you find something that is unique and looks very nice, it usually is that way because there is a lot of work that goes into it, right? It's like it would be weird if it was super simple to create your fantastic unique collage style. Everyone would do it, right? It's like it's, you have to like do it many times, like find your own style. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think people don't realize how much details there are in your things. Like, just open any of your like animal pre-renders and let's look at them, because I just find it completely amazing how many details you have in your animations.
Do you want to? Okay, we can check like I like the chicken ones. This is my favorite one. I like animating chickens for some reason. But well, then you can see all of the parts without the body. So we have the body where you have the feet and you have the wing and the crest and the I don't know what this is called, the thing that dangles down. In English, I don't know what this is called. And the
I mean,
tail.
either.
Yeah, basically everything moves. That's something that I do all the time. Like everything moves.
Do you
Everything
have
that
wiggle
can move
expressions from
moves.
things, or is everything keyframed?
Not everything. If you go to the tail, let's see the tail here. It has a wiggle. This is just a wiggle.
How do you get it to loop without it like jumping at the end?
It jumps. I think it jumps. But it's very I guess I just find like a place. You can make the calculations of frames and your wiggle expression, but to be honest, I never do that. Like you can calculate because you're telling it to wiggle like 10 pixels every one frame, and you would go
Yeah.
well then by second you would have the same, but I don't. I don't.
I guess also because, I mean, for your style that you do, and you also have posterized time,
Yeah,
like, you wouldn't notice if it's like just slightly.
it can look a little bit choppy, yes. But if I do want it to loop seamlessly, I would not use the wiggle, or maybe I would, but I would animate it. I would make it keyframeable. But for example, for this type of thing, if you go to one of my favorite plugins, you go to the DUIK, and they have these automations, and you can have like, where is it, like swing. There is this swing expression. So let's say, let's remove this expression from the tail, and I go to swing. So what this does is it gives you an A value and a B value, and they're all keyframeable. So you can see that minus 60, 50. It's a lot. And it gives you the frequency, right? So right now the frequency is 1, but if I put the frequency in 10, it's going to go faster, right?
Wow. It's like an advanced.
It's not.
You don't have to have keyframes then.
It's not a wiggle. It's you also have a wiggle here. So let's say I remove this, and let's remove the swing. But the swing is you have two values. It's kind of like looping from here to here, right? But it's keyframeable, and you can animate the frequency, and you can animate a bunch of stuff like to make it your own instead of like random. And in that case, you could very well do a seamless loop, because you can animate when it starts and when it finishes, and you can animate it to finish where it starts. So, but you can also have a wiggle expression in DUIK that is keyframeable instead of baking it into the expressions yourself. Here it is. You have a keyframe for amplitude and a keyframe from frequency and a keyframe for the loop duration, right?
Yeah.
So you can keyframe all of these things, and you have a lot more control on your wiggle.
You have also the loop duration, which if you don't want to be, you want to skip the jumps and.
Yeah, so it's very nice, I think. The wiggle, it's as you know, it randomly goes from a rotation on one side. It's not a set amount, so it depends on what you're doing. In this case, I guess I did just the simple wiggle expression because it was like a simple loop, and I didn't think too much about it, and it works. It was just to have a bit of animation so it doesn't look very static. Because also what I find is that if you move anything, like any detail at all, it really comes to life. Like you don't have to make this really huge animation expressions and things and jump up and down if that's not what you're going for. But if you have like a like here, you just have the chickens and the cows and the sheep, they're just kind of like part of the scene, right? Like a backdrop.
So, can I ask you about that? Let's say that I have a character, and if you say that you like as soon as you add a little bit of movement, it comes alive. Could you give like a suggestion? Let's say that someone they rig a character, and they're like, okay, before even getting to the the walk cycles and all that, you just wanted to make a little bit like it's standing there and it's alive. Could you walk me through what would you do then?
Yes. Oh, so that is one of the more difficult things that I come across whenever I'm animating and the character has nothing to do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have like a purpose. Like so, like this character is gonna have a purpose. He needs to kneel down and plant a seed. So that's a very very specific purpose that we can work with. But if you don't have that, so, okay. So there's this thing called, I don't know if you've ever heard about it. It's this thing called post to post animation.
Could you say it again?
Post to post animation.
Post to pose.
Yes. So it's what traditional animators, it's a technique that they use a lot for traditional animation to make characters feel alive. So we move a lot, like, right? We humans move a lot, and we're always moving our heads and our hair. And if you're not doing motion caption, then you're not going to get that from from your characters, right? But there are things that you can do. So, for example, this guy, right? Let's see. So the idea behind pose to pose is that you're literally going from one pose to another. I don't know how else to explain it. Okay, so let's imagine that you're here and you're if you're looking at me, you're just sitting here, right? And if you would watch, like, especially for kids animations, and if you're watching like an animated show, you're gonna start to see this a lot. So they're in a position, and then something happens, and it's like, right? They just move from one to the other, and you have to keyframe this to this, and then they say something else, and then they change their poster again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they change again, and it's just like, imagine if that position of the character is just a toggle free keyframe, right? So the animation just happens in between. You don't have to break your head that much. So let's say that with this character, you just want to make it feel a little more alive, right? So let's say he breathes and he puts his hand in his waist, right? So let's animate. Usually, but this is not the case because I'm just going to change his postures from the torso up. But this is just, if you're going to move the whole character, I usually animate the legs first, because the legs actually carry your whole body movement. But let's say this is going to be like a simple, right? I just do like position and rotation for this one. And then the torso, I'm just going to do a rotation. And the shoulders, I'm going to do position, right? And that's it. And then the head, I'm going to rotate, right? So you have all these keyframes. And then let's say that I go 10 keyframes ahead. You can worry about easy in and easy in the keyframes and changing the curves later. But first you do this, right? So then, oh, and you know what? Let's move a leg. Like, let's move the left leg. Position here. And the torso, let's probably do a position as well, just in case. So you have your first keyframes, right? And then let's just move to the next position, which is like here. And then the torso, let's move it down a little bit, just like this. And let's move it a little bit no, to the other side, back, because he's going to change his weight back. And then the leg. Let's move the position a little bit, right? Just like this. And with DUIK, I should have said, like, I have a bunch of puppet pins that I did to the foot, so he's able to do like this. With DUIK, we have a rig. It has toes, tip toes, and heels, and foot roll, and you can do like this really cool thing where he's like moving on his tiptoes. Okay, so let's do that. And let's say he moved a little weight here. And then let's say that his hand, it moved here, right? Here. And then the head went a little bit back. And then the shoulder went up. And then the shoulder is the first thing that's going to go down, right? This is going to look like crap because it's not eased in, but you can see the principle.
It's like a post-to-post thing. Is that what you meant? Like he went from one pose to another? Yeah.
So you need to know what pose you're going to have your characters in. The second thing that you can do is, let's say, I'm doing this kind of like fast, but for example, the curve for the shoulder, so he's kind of like breathing in. So the in between is going to be a little more, it's going to take more time for him to let go, right?
So it's like space. A breath.
Yes. Right?
It's really interesting to see.
Now, the other principle that you can use is overlapping animation. So you don't move all of the parts of your body at the same time. So let's say he started with his legs, right? This is the first keyframes. But then the torso followed a couple of keyframes later, right? And then the head moves after the torso, and then the arm moves with the head, but the rotation of the arm moves a little bit. Okay, so now it looks like this.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit more natural.
And I guess for you, it's like you've done this for so long that you know basically what looks good in terms of, or like what looks natural in terms of what comes first, like how do each limb move in relation to each other. For someone who's doing this like for the first time, or like trying to figure out, do you have any suggestions for how to get started? Like what type of movements can you practice to do first?
Yeah. Okay. So the thing that I would recommend is to tape yourself, like to record yourself doing something, like acted. Like let's say you're the character, record yourself in the same from the side, like this character. If you were gonna animate this character, record yourself from the side, and move and do a pose. And then try to emulate that with your keyframes. And then the second thing that I would do is always overlap your keyframes and then stack them up from the bottom to the top. So legs first, torso, chest, shoulders, head, right? It also depends. It's because doing character animation is acting. It depends on what your character needs to do, right? And also don't be afraid to just loop everything. So let's say we have our character here, right? And then you just take your keyframes, right? And then you go and paste all of your keyframes from the beginning. here, right? And then I didn't stack them here, but then you go back, right? Red flag. We missed one keyframe. The tiptoe. It was supposed to be 0 here. Oh, shit. I hate it when this happens. 0. And then you go back. Right. So now you have this. And he goes back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like already with that little thing, or like already now, like it's like you created some pretty interesting movement. So let's say, do you ever add wiggles as well on a character to like?
Sometimes.
Where would you add wiggles?
If I add a wiggle, it would be kind of like in the torso rotation, for example. Okay, so let's add just a little like a wiggle, and the same amount for that we were using. What did I do? The same amount that we were doing for the chicken, right? 10. Let's see how this works, because sometimes it looks like a lot. But if you wiggle the torso, for example, right? He's always moving.
Oh yeah, so I love that.
If I would wiggle something.
It's so interesting.
And the torso,
that really
thing. Yeah, the torso. The thing with this kind of rig is that the torso moves everything. So if you move the torso, the shoulders move, the head moves.
It seems like you have a wiggle on a lot of things, but
it depends on what you want your character to do. Again, but yeah, like the wiggle adds a lot of life to it. But if you do it a lot, like let's say because the stretches of the arms, if you don't move, like if you can see with this wiggle, check the right leg that is not moving at all of the character. Check it. So there's a point where it kind of looks unnatural. There, like it goes back, like it snaps back. It's barely noticeable, but things like that can.
I didn't really notice it.
Yeah, things like that can happen. Like let's add like a crazy wiggle, right? Also, it's way easier because I noticed the character that you were referring that you animated, it was completely front.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super hard to animate front characters. Especially if you don't have the control, like if you're not a 2D animator that's actually drawing where the character goes and the expressions or anything. Like since we're working with 2D, like you cannot turn your character around. So having it from front and the perspective of like it's different in 2D. Like if you're watching me in the screen, it's different if I'm on the side and I do this with my arm. Then if I do this, like the perspective changes completely because this is a 3D perspective. Like it has depth. Yeah. So it's super hard to animate like a character from the front. So if you animate them like from the side, it's super easy. Or 3/4. Like not totally front, but not totally side, but 3/4. And 3/4 gives you like the freedom to do a lot with the character without breaking like the illusion of space.
Yeah.
But yeah, this already like if you just do this, like you see here, and you have it in your scene. Let's go here. I'm gonna put it in quarter because this is okay. And you do this, like it already looks a little bit alive, right? It doesn't look like an illustration. Like there's a lot going on. The plants are moving, the animals are moving, even the sky is moving very slowly, but the clouds are moving.
Yeah, I see that. It's a nice touch.
And when you add this with camera movement, with depth of field from the camera, like you have a very alive scene. and it already grabs your attention a little bit.
I think for a lot of people like me who have been doing a lot of After Effects, like the we've worked with camera, like different effects, a little bit of movement, but I think one big hurdle, or like one thing that's very scary to a lot of people is characters, because it's so much more detailed, and it's it feels like so many things need to fit together, and I think that a tool like DUIK helps a lot. It's still not like very easy to use, but I found your tutorial on DUIK very good, and I think it you have to realize also that it also ties very into like knowing what characters, like you talked about now, like why do your characters look interesting? Yeah, probably because you have this thing where you exaggerate some body part size, but I still think there's something that's very daunting about animating characters.
It's I mean, it's the hardest part of every video that I make, animating the characters, because
Yeah.
it is what can break or make the scene. And I don't consider myself to be a very good character animation, to be honest with you. Like, I'm trying to improve it, and I watch a lot of animated movies, and I'm obsessed with animation and character animation and so on. So I'm trying to learn another software that I want to start using for character animation. That is not After Effects. It's called Moho. I'm not there yet, but I want to do that. Also, like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess the main thing would be to embrace the flaws. Like, at some point, like, just say, like, fuck, I'm just gonna do it. And people think that because this is not hand drawn animation, it's like collage, it's parts, it's a rig. But I don't know if you've heard about the 12 principles of animation. It's something that was coined very early on, I think, by Disney animators, or back way back then, when animation was starting to be like a whole deal. And the 12 principle of animations actually apply to motion graphics, to character animation, to everything. And one of those principles is actually the exaggeration of movement, the character that your character has, the acting, the knowing that you're not making something realistic. All of those things add up to the animation, right? Like, it took me a long time to go to the post to post animation. It took me a long time to the overlaying of animations to make it look more fluid. It takes, especially, it's very painful because of the constraints of the perspective. Like, you don't have a 3D character that you can rotate and you can move around in a scene like seamlessly, which it has, like, its own difficulty on its own, but the very own restrictions of just having a 2D character on the side that cannot turn around, like, it makes you solve the scene in different ways, right? And so I think that's where the interesting parts of the video come from. Like, sometimes it's like, how did you come up with that? It's because I couldn't do the other thing. It's not that I came up with it.
That's
It's
interesting.
just
Yeah.
so.
No, but I think that's constraints are baked into all art, right?
Yeah.
And the constraints could be related to the material or the experience or many different things, and that's what creates a unique piece of art.
And the way to solve that can come in different ways. Like, let me show you. Like, for example, in the other shot, the shot from the left from Mendel, like, this is what I thought about, right? He is here among this ridiculously amount of pea plants, right? Because I figured that he would have a lot of pea plants. And so he's going to do the thing that you have on your script, that he's trying to crossbreed green peas with yellow peas, etc., right? And so, but when you say that he did this for many years and coming with results and everything, I thought it would be cool to have him put his results on the chalkboard, right? But the character that we have here, we have him from the front, right? So he's here, and this character will help us with that part, like taking samples of the pollen of the plants and going from one plant to the left to one plant to the right. But I had to make, and I made another character so that we can have Mendel from the back.
Oh, yeah.
And this took a whole other set of assets, but you make it work. Like, no one is going to say this is not the same head, this is not the same
No.
guy. And so now we have him from the back, and we can have him writing on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
Right? And here, a hand with a chalk. Even.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you go to the lab,
so
like,
many details.
Yeah, I already put in, like, this is the starting of the camera, and then you have here in the middle, he's here doing his tests, and then we're going to go all the way to the back where he's recording his findings and putting them on the board, right?
Yeah.
And then you can cheat that. You don't have one character, but you have two rigs that function as one character.
Yeah.
And you sell this is kind of like, have you ever talked to a magician, like an illusionist?
I've seen them do magic.
Yeah, well, the basic principle of magic is that people want to believe in magic for it to be real, right? So you have to believe in the illusion, and this just sells the illusion. Like, people know this is not real, obviously, but you sell the illusion of the same guy, and this is basically how everything works. You're just cheating everybody's eyes all the time. That's what I do.
Yeah, and that's and it works surprisingly well. One detail that I saw in the end there that you use a lot, it's like it looks like you had like two rays of light.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Feels like a typical Karla thing.
Yeah, here in the lab. So, okay, things to give depth. When you use the blur from the camera, which I almost always use the camera blur, but I add that to the very end.
Oh, yeah.
I animate the focus.
When you have the movements already, so you animate the movements and then you do the
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that adds, the blur from the camera. It adds a lot of depth, but light and shadows make it look pretty cool. So this is actually just a shape here. This is a shape.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna
animate light.
Like from a window
mode.
And then you just animate like the path, like the path of the shape. Yeah. You just animate the path of the shape, and it moves just a little bit, and it gives the impression of light from the window. And I also have a window beam, actually, which is just a video. Here.
Oh, yeah.
There's just a freebie, like from Storyblocks or something, but it adds to the illusion of depth.
There's so many details. So fascinating.
And then
it does a lot to add some depth.
Yeah. That with the window in the back, and you can go all the way there. Like, you can have so many more details. Like, I thought one nice detail here in the back is this porcelain pea thing that I found. And I thought, like, if someone was to have this in their house, it would be this guy.
Yeah. Could I ask you about your camera settings?
Yeah, of course.
Do you use point of interest or no?
No, I probably let's see.
OneNote?
OneNote. Almost always OneNote. If anything, I would like parent it to a null or something.
Yeah, but you have a pretty short. Or let me see compared to the settings I have. What have you changed? Have you changed like when it comes to the focal length and all that?
Not at all. I usually just use like 50 millimeters,
Yeah.
depending on the scene. Or like for this example, probably 35 millimeters is going to look better because we can get more of the room and the plants.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the camera settings here, as I said, I do this at the end. I turn the depth of field on, and then the focus distance. It depends on what we want to see at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I always animate that with the position of the camera. It's always like those two keyframes go hand in hand. And the aperture, I usually go very high, like 600 or 800, so that we can actually have like a difference in focus. And this is very important, the iris shape. I always go up octagon, nonagon, decagon, because if you do by default, it comes in fast triangle.
Yeah.
But if
it doesn't look as realistic, right?
It looks choppy. It looks awful. Like there's something that doesn't like add up. But if you change it to octagon, it looks a bit smoother and cleaner.
Yeah.
So I
usually adds render time though.
It does add a bunch of render time. Oh, it's so worth it. What I almost never use or use in depending on if it's a short shot, if I don't have like as many assets, it's like a native light from After Effects with shadows.
You do use that?
Yeah, but if that really adds up to render time. That is the one thing and post-process time that really adds up to the render time.
Yeah, that's why I almost never use native lights.
But they look really cool if you set it up right and you animate the light and the shadows move. Like I guess it depends on what you're going for. For example, here, since this is we have a lot of light, like adding a bunch of harsh shadows, I don't think it's that necessary. And in the field shot, since it's outside, also not that necessary to add shadows because you have nowhere to put them in. But
is that the view you use when you set the focus distance?
When I animate my camera and the focus distance, I use two viewers. I use the top one and this is why always, if you see my projects, they always have colors. Like I always use the same color scheme. Like yellow is for the top layers that are almost overlays, effects, things like that. Like this should be yellow. Camera, I don't know what this is. I always, controllers, cameras and stuff, I always use orange. And main characters, I always use like pink. Hard pink. And the reason for that is because if I'm at the top viewer and I know where I want to have my focus, it saves me a bunch of time to
that's very smart,
calculating where I want the focus to be on, right? And I always animate like that. And the same so the principle that I use is, okay, so the first things first, put in the VO, right, to time the scene. So you gave me like a reference where you want the scene that I have here, reference voiceover, right? So it's this whole part. So what I would do is I will put this in like so in my shot, right? This is at the very top. This is just to have your voice here.
Of wheat came about.
So step one, then step two, camera movement, right? I don't animate anything else that's not loop or that's not going to be just like something specific. I don't animate that until I have blocked the camera movement. So once I have the camera movement, because otherwise you might animate the whole character and maybe you just needed to animate the torso up. or like the hand.
Okay, that's why. I would
Depending
have
on what you
guessed you would
have.
have done it the other way around. But
No,
so you do the camera first, okay?
I block the camera first. What needs to be in the frame, and that's the camera first. So depending on what needs to be in the frame and what ends up in that after that, I animate the character or whatever it's in the scene or whatever needs to fall off, or anything like that. Characters.
All right, I would have guessed that you animated the characters and all the movement in the scene, and then you just follow that with the camera.
No. Characters are the last thing, are the very last thing that I animate.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
especially
wouldn't have known that.
like for example, if you have like a client work or something like that, and you're just delivering stuff, since it's the most time-consuming part, the animation of the character, then if you're gonna have any changes in the timing of the scene, if you're gonna have like, you just need to block everything first. Like everything's blocked, the camera is blocked, the scene is constructed. You're looking where you're supposed to look. It's time to the voiceover. Once you have that, then you animate the character. And that way you also have a reference on what is close to your character and what's not, and what you need to hide or you need to work around or what you need to fake, right? And that is the last thing that I do, animating the character.
Very interesting.
Yeah, also because you have like the timing. For example, what I'm planning here is like the camera at some point. I also have a wiggle in the camera, like a very 0.2, 30. So it's very subtle. So it's a little bit of handheld camera. It's not a static.
Yeah, you can call mass.
But you do that a lot in your videos. You do like handshake camera, right?
Yeah, like I've worked on that a lot too, because I like the idea that it moves like this, but it also moves like this. Because like if you hold a camera, like
yeah, like the perspective.
So, and I think that helps a little bit. And then I usually have an expression control to another slider, so I can, tone it up and down depending on where I'm in the scene. But
so I'm just gonna give you an example, right? So what we're gonna do is at some point, I'm gonna mute your voice for now, but let's say this is what needs to happen, right? We're gonna move.
Oh, I love how the perspective of the corn plants move through. Like, for example, can I ask you here before we go on? Like, obviously, the way the corn plants are spaced here worked perfectly with the camera move. Like, it's looked super nice with the what do you call it? Like a dolly shot, or like the when it moves in like this. Did you, when you position the plants, did you already try a camera movement?
I knew that I was gonna go, that I was gonna move the camera in between the plants to get to my character. So I wanted to have them pass by on the sides so that they don't disappear. So I don't bump into a leaf and it suddenly disappears. So because if we do this, okay, let's say we do the same movement, but here. Now we're breaking the illusion, but let's say we do this, right? And you go here and you bump into them directly. It looks cool, but they kind of like disappear, right?
Yeah, it looked actually pretty cool as well. But okay, can you do at two views so you can see how far away, like from the top as well? Like, I'm just curious because one thing that when I did a collage animations, I found it very tricky to like, how do I position things in the scene so you achieve whatever you want to achieve when you move the camera? Like, because now it looks really good. Do you just have like a general sense for it, or do you iterate? Like, did you try placing them in different distances, or for you it's just natural? You just put it out there and then it will work.
I've done it so many times that I already have a very good knack of what is actually going to produce a parallax effect. You kind of have to go very far away. to be honest.
With the camera, like in the, what do you mean?
With the assets. So for example, I do have like the grass. This grass is horizontal. It's but if you look at from, okay, this is the top, right? But if you look at from the left, I do have a floor. This is the layer for the grass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the distance from here to here is quite a bit. I guess it depends on the timing, on the size of your assets, of what you're gonna show. But the spacing, I don't know. I don't have like a
I guess it's
formula of
something you
distances.
just need to.
Yeah, depending
work
on what you want. I already had this set up from your last video, so that was easy, right? But the distances, it depends. You move the camera and you're like, oh, this doesn't look really parallaxy. I need to put more distance in between them. Or these are too close, too far, right? So like if you look at the corn plants, which are these ones in yellow, like these ones, they're pretty close from each other. And like, for example, the scene from the lab is actually bigger from the field. Did you see?
Yeah.
It's longer, like it's wider, it's deeper.
Yeah, exactly. And the floor, like since you don't see the floor, it doesn't need to be that big.
I mean, you do see the floor here, like for like if I take it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the floor and the background, the floor is always kind of like the most tricky part of this kind of setup, because it usually has to be like this super big asset, so it doesn't get like super pixelated when you scale it up and you need to cover like a lot of ground. Or what I would do is I would put several of them in a row to fill the gaps so that it doesn't break the quality. But the floor is actually very tricky, because also if you see here, since I do have it in position so that things are not kind of like skating on top of it, floating on the floor, if you will. So let's take like the character, right? The farmer character. If I go, it's kind of like if I go down, it will go through, right?
Yeah.
But if I usually let it go through just a little bit so that it's anchored to the floor, because of course if you go too high, then he's gonna be floating
to a David Blaine float.
Yeah.
But it's because that's
like here you can see that
really
he's
notice
floating
when you animate the camera. But because I guess you start with the floor and then you position the anchor point of all the characters and everything to the same level. And then I guess at some point we should do like I should be a fly on the wall. We just build up your whole scene,
for sure.
like because like for me it's like everyone who's been doing 2.5D and After Effects can achieve this, but I guess there are better ways to build it up.
Yeah, I'm being lazy with my grass, because if you're too like, if you pay a lot of attention to it, if you do pay a lot of attention, you can see that it's flat, right? You can see that it's just kind of like an image. But that's why we put so many things on top of it, like depth of field and things like that. Yeah. Or I can have like different things. Like I do have like here, I do have some patches of grass that I put in here where the cow is, that stick up for when the cows are actually eating grass, so that their faces go behind the grass, and the grass actually moves a little bit like with the wind. So things like that, just to give it a little bit more of a depth to it. Like here, we have grass in here as well. But yeah, because since this is not 3D, if it was like a 3D scene, you could have like the 3D grass, like if it was a Pixar movie, Like you would have like a particle system that you would have grass and it would be 3D, and the camera would travel into the grass and everything. But I mean, come on, that would take like forever. And this is not 3D, this is After Effects. And
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be collage animation either.
Yeah,
it would be
yeah.
something else.
It's just trickery. And what else? The only thing
Okay,
that's
so
not 3D
you
on
move the
this
camera first. I think that
Yeah.
was a very important takeaway for me, that you move the camera first and then you animate the characters.
Yeah, let's see you're happy with the camera movement here, like, right? Let's say, yeah, I'm fine with this. This is great. Okay, then this is the end of the motion, right? I would go, and this is what I mean. This is a lot of back and forward, but I would go here, right? And I would put a marker on my character, and I would say, if you put Alt, you probably know this already, but I'm just going to say it in case someone doesn't know. I put a marker here and I put Alt. It lets me stretch the marker up to here, right? And then if I double click on the marker, then I would put something like kneels down yellow, for example. So even if I'm not looking at the main comp, I know that this is the time that I have to take for him to kneel down.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you actually go to the field and you right click on your precomp of the character and you go to markers, update markers from source, then you have your action here as well.
Yeah, that's great. I've always been annoyed that you have to update marker from source. I think that should just be automatic. But
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, because even if I change the markers inside, if I don't update it again outside, then it just stays the same, and it's stupid. I agree with that. After Effects team, if you are listening, come on.
Also, one thing that I would love to do, let's say, okay, so now you have that marker on that layer. I would love for it to be able to export markers from layers to the comp. Because otherwise, when you have a very nested composition, you want to have like, all the markers in the beginning. So you have to do workarounds now where you put the all nested pre-comp in the main comp, and then like the mark. It's like After Effects a bit annoying sometimes. Like it feels like some basic functions that are not in there.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that, because it seems to me that it's a general take that we all think these things, that we all complain about the same things. So it's like, and you have a bunch of stuff that is in there that no one uses, but it's like, I don't know. So this is what I would do, right? So I know, like, this is how long this should take, right? So let's say that I take this character, I'm going to delete the keyframes that I made for the example, and here. So torso, I already have this torso, yes. So check this out. Okay, so I know that my torso is going to be the one that's going to drive this whole thing, because the way that this is rigged, if I go up, if I go down, right? Like the controllers for the hands and the ankles stay put. So I need to animate the torso first, right? And I always use like a ruler, like this is my floor, right? You some people use a shape layer or whatever to you probably already know this as well, but I'm gonna say it again. So if I use like just a reference floor, right, and I do this, so I know I'm not supposed to go from here, and I do this, right click it, and I say this is a guide layer, right, and I change the name, floor ref, right,
and that won't render,
even
I
in
didn't know that.
Yeah, even in the main comp, it doesn't appear. It's nowhere.
It's very useful.
Yeah, it's very useful. I use that for a lot of things. If you're doing like a color palette and you have to have the reference of the colors there all the time, etc., you put a guide layer and it just won't render. So we leave our floor here just to have the reference, and I'm just gonna put a lock in this. And this is gonna be a tricky movement, but let's see how it goes if I do this fast. Let's go ahead like 20 frames, just to, you can retime things later, but just to have movement. It seems to me that around here, don't you love how the arms do very weird things?
Yeah.
Let's say, right? We go here. And okay, so we need to decide, right? And it's gonna go a little bit farther back, right? And so the leg that's gonna be back, it's gonna be the left leg. Oh, also, this is just what I do, and what I figure is the best way to do it is I always name the sides and the limbs according to the character, not me. So you're looking to a character at the front, right shoulder, left shoulder. One thing is my right and my left, and one thing is the character's right and the character's left.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Right? So I always use the character. Yeah. It's always a character. So the left leg is the left leg of the character. So that means no matter who's watching or where or anything, it doesn't get confusing. What was the...
It's always the character.
Yeah. So here, we're going to the tiptoe and the position and probably rotation, but I'm not sure. Let's see. And then I move my character a little bit. And as you can see, for example, now that I have the reference of the torso, I can see that it's too below. So I do this. I adjust. And then I tiptoe so that we can have the tip of the foot. And I position it a little bit better towards the floor. And then I move it so that the knee is barely touching the ground. And then this one, this leg, we're just going to animate the position a little bit. And here it's going to go a little bit to the front and a little bit to the down. And so now, let's see. Now you have a nice kneeling down.
Yeah. It's very impressive how you just, I guess it comes with experience that you knew where to begin, so to speak.
Yeah, and then, like, for example, obviously the left arm is all messed up. So we're going to put it here, right? And the right arm, position and rotation. He can go, depends on what we want him to do, right? So he can just grab like his head, his leg while he's doing it. And the rotation just a little bit there. And he would probably look down, right? To the floor. And he would probably do it faster than the rest of the body because you need to know where you're going. Like here, he looks down a little bit faster, like his head is looking already down when the rest of his body arrives, right? And then it depends on the kind of movement, but usually just like an easy ease type of thing works. And then you probably, here we cannot do a lot of overlapping. Let's see if the left leg allows us to overlap. Yes, you see that? The knee went back just a little bit farther, right?
Yeah, that made a big difference.
Yeah. And then kind of like you have it. It's a little bit faster than our camera movement, but check it. Let's see. and it looks right with the floor. And maybe, for example, okay, so let's see. So since the camera movement is starting here, maybe we can move the keyframes all the way here so that we have the movement start here, right? So let's move everything here. And I think it's gonna look better. Like the camera starts, he's there, and then once it's moving, he starts moving, and it's not so immediate, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I usually work all these type of scenes.
I love how the chicken are moving while the camera is moving in. That's such a cool effect.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it gives depth to everything.
Yeah, it adds a lot of like Michael Bay kind of action in every frame.
And so here, the idea, which I'm going to do later, is that he's going to plant a seed, and we're going to see the seed in his hand. I already have a PNG of a seed, and usually, of course, this is how I plan the thing. So I took the script that you gave me, and you do the same thing. You do the visual type thing, but I do it more oriented into the actions of the characters and the details of what's going to happen.
Do you always do this? Do you always do this also for your own thing?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah.
Yeah, always. Yeah, because sometimes you end up improvising, but I think it's always good to have like a base plan, right? And not that's something that you're going to have to stick to it, but if you have a base plan, that it gives you the constraint to discover something new, because otherwise, it gets very messy. And you end up like working a lot and not having something useful, probably. Right?
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the script as well. Like,
oh yeah, and so like I don't know, for example, and I do it by paragraph, right? Like what should we be showing here? And the close up, the farming. Farmer plants a seed, dolly out, then we're going to go out with the camera. The plants grow. Right now the plants are growing because I have not retimed them. But the idea is that he's going to plant the seed, and then we're going to move back with the camera, and the plants are going to grow while we're moving back. And then we see that the farmer takes a seed from like the growing plant. I'm going to make the probably, I just duplicated the precomps, but the precomp that he's working with, the one that's closest to him, I'm going to probably duplicate that, and I'm going to make it different from the others to make it visual that he's choosing that set of plants to have the seed instead of the other ones. Like it probably has more leaves, it's greener or something.
Yeah.
It looks more pretty or something, right? So he's choosing that plant. But since I already have the base animation, I just have to duplicate it and maybe change the size and duplicate a couple of layers, and I'll have a different plant. And then we're gonna have like a split screen, probably on a different shot, and I'm gonna add like a fungus on just one precomp of the plants. So the plants are gonna be like sick, and that's why he's not choosing those and he's choosing the other ones, right? Because they were like more.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Like it's that's very ambitious in terms of like the details. Like it's really interesting to hear also how you think about like how do I take the informational value of what I'm trying to say and put that in your animation, and that ends up in all of those details I talked to before.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to do this first, to kind of like imagine the scene in your head and putting it down in writing and see, okay, so if I'm going to do this, then I need a farmer, and then I need a seed, and then I need a plant, and then you start to. I actually have another document that I didn't use here because I already had a lot of the assets, but I have another document. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? I have so many stuff, man.
Yeah.
Here.
Stuff piles up.
Yeah, it's an asset audit template.
Oh wow,
So
what's this?
so this is the shot name. This is what probably the script says that needs to happen in the shot, and based on that, this is the assets that I need.
Hmm.
And the level of complexity, like medium, high, super high, and long, red as hell, right? Low.
And
The
that's
asset,
depending on the scene, I guess.
yeah, the asset
Yeah.
status, like it's downloaded. I already photoshopped it. It's After Effects ready, right? Ready for animation. So the comp has been set. The scene has been shot. The priority of the scene. The timestamp. If I have like a long edit, where does this animation go in the final edit? So that's the timestamp. In your case, for example, you gave me already the reference audio for both scenes, so it doesn't apply here. Notes, etc. And then here, down here, characters needed. So here I would have put Mendel, status, assets downloaded, Photoshop, rigged, animated. And this way I keep track of everything that I need shot by shot and thing by thing. But it all starts here. So I take this description, then the shot, and when I say shots, is where I figure I'm going to need a different comp.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, so it's basically different comps.
Uh-huh. So, for example, this is a different shot. It's still the field, but I put it aside because I want to do the split screen thing of the plant. So it's probably going to be in another comp. It's not going to be the same comp that you were looking at. I'm going to duplicate that comp and I'm going to use the same assets, but I'm going to do it slightly different.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's definitely something. Maybe you should do a separate tutorial on like going from like a script to creating a picture script like this, listing all the assets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that would be very helpful for a lot of people because I think a lot of people are a bit more like me. Like, you don't really have a structured process, and if you have very complex compositions, it quickly gets out of hand.
Yeah, that's why it's. I feel like it's the only way to do it. If you organize yourself, you can stop getting stress from the whole thing at once, and you can focus on just one shot, one part of a shot, one thing that you have to do. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it gets a little bit overwhelming, especially if you have like sometimes I have this, but for like 20 shots, for example,
Yeah.
and then it gets really out of hand. So there, for example, we have the next part of the script that you gave me, and the next part of the VO, which is the next shot in the lab, and this one is just one shot, and then lots of P plans dolly in until we see Mendel working in the back of the lab, and that's why I already have him in place here because I already know what I want to do, right? I know that when I put the scene together, I knew that I wanted him here in this place because I already imagined the dolly in through the plants to almost do like the reason that I did this is because I thought it would be a nice parallel to this, right? So here we go through the plants, but of the field outside, and here we go through the plants, but inside on a lab, right?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a parallel shot. I thought it would be cool. And then I know that I'm going to need a yellow P and a green P. So I already know that I need to get assets for both. And I already know that I'm going to have to make a pre-comp for the green one and a pre-comp for the yellow one. So I already know that. And then I'm going to do like a montage, like I told you, like him writing his findings on the chalkboard, the famous diagram, the one that they show us in school is going to be there in the chalkboard, the camera movement with the time lapse. So what I'm thinking here is like a montage of him, like in the back, in the plants, several parts of him, like instances of the rig in different places at the same time to show that time is passing, right? That
Yeah, it's like he's moving quickly.
that he's moving through the whole thing for a long time.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm gonna probably have this character. I'm gonna make him do like simple actions, and I'm gonna loop them, right? Because he's just gonna be moving here, and then he's gonna be moving here, and then he's gonna be in the back on the chalkboard. And the magic of the scene is the camera movement and the story that it's telling. So we're not relying heavily on just character animation, right? It's the whole thing. And
yeah, it's so much more elaborate and ambitious than I imagined it to be. It's very impressive. Like,
thank you.
It's very interesting to hear how you bring, because you're not just doing animations, you're also processing the information of the script into, like, how do I communicate what the script is trying to say in this case. Like, that's very interesting, and like, I think that's something that maybe you should talk about in one of your tutorials as well. Like, when you get a script, like, how do you pull out what am I supposed to animate and why?
Yeah, actually, that
because it's
would
not
be...
just decoration. It's like it's information in there as well.
Yeah, I think I'd like to think about like just something as stupid as what we were talking about, like this thing, or like this ceramic pea that is just for decoration, but it's like, what would a guy like this have in an office, right? If you're dedicating, I thought he would have a lot of plants probably around, right? He would have diagrams of plants. He would be studying them. He would have a lot of plants to work with, because plants take a long time to grow. So you're gonna want to have a lot of them, and things like that go into my head. Also, I think it helps. I've always been a very visual person, so if you tell me a story, even if it's personal, I'm gonna imagine it, so that helps. And then when you do this long enough, and when you do it repeatedly, it's kind of like a muscle, that you start thinking about it that way. So you probably, when you are writing your scripts, you're probably already thinking how you want to record it or film it, and you know what I mean. You already have some idea of what you want to do, and then it just keeps happening. Or you see something that's interesting in someone else's work, and you want to implement that, or like I think that's what happens. I watch a lot of movies, I watch a lot of animation, I watch a lot of work from other people, and sometimes it comes from somewhere else. Like someone did some cool performance street art, and I gave you an idea, not necessarily an animation, not necessarily a collage animation, right? And I think that's cool. And it just kind of like happens. Sometimes I do get really frustrated. Like, remember I told you this from my last video from the procrastinating robot. It was not as straightforward as this. It took me a long time because I was not liking it. I had no real ideas connecting what was happening to what visually I wanted to do. So I struggled with that a lot, and that's why I dragged it so much. And I actually I speak of this in my behind the scenes for that video, that I didn't like it, but probably like you watched it and you had no reference of whatever I was imagining or not imagining it for that story, and you liked it.
Because you only see the end result as well. That's like, as a viewer, you only get to see the final product of that journey that you do as a creator. But one thing that struck me when you were talking is that, like, when you do your animations, you get to do all the roles. Like, you get to be a set decorator, a director of photography, like an actor, a director. Like, you do everything. It's kind of fascinating. Maybe that's why you enjoy it so much, that you get to create this little world where you even get to think, like, what would Mendel have at home, right? It's like
It's
it's fascinating.
it's like playing house. It's like I'm playing house all the time, with a
Yeah,
little bit of a stress factor when you have clients, but it's you're playing house.
yeah.
Like you're
We're
putting
also
everything.
playing like movie producer, like
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I started animating because I wanted to be. I love movies, and I wanted to be in movies. I wanted to be
yeah,
probably like everyone else when you're young. I wanted to be a movie director, which like I don't think that I would now, but knowing what goes into it.
yeah,
But one thing led to another, and yeah, I think that's. I've never thought about it like that. Where you're right, like I'm even decorating a set and
yeah,
constructing a thing, and I that's my favorite part when I'm building the shots and putting things here and there. And it's like when you were a kid and you were, or even now, like if I play with Legos or or with my daughter, and you put things here and there, and it's just the details, and it can you can always be moved further, right? You can always go further, you can add more things, you can always add more things.
yeah,
And the details, it's what makes the shots come to life, honestly.
yeah. What I'm very impressed by your style as well is that something that you prove with your channel, with your different short films that are very like varied in what topics they cover. Yours, what you do, you can basically tell any story like with the help of your tools, like which is super powerful. Like imagine how many people want to make films, but they need to have actors and cameras and a lot of people. Like you can just do everything. Like it takes a lot of time and it's probably very frustrating for you, but you can tell almost any story. And I think that's also why it's such a superpower that very big YouTubers want to use for their projects, like because you can help them tell anything with the help of your world building ability with collage animation. So that's why I think it's so cool, and I think it's weird that not more people are like trying to get good at. Maybe it's because it's so hard. Also, it's also so hard to do well. People think it's going to be like that guy who asked you if they could do 3 reels a day or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah, yeah, if you haven't done this yourself, I think it would be hard to grasp how much work goes into just 1 minute of animation, right?
yeah,
And this is relatively easy compared to if you're like a 2D traditional animator, which they get to do the same thing, but you actually have to have the skills to draw, right? Which I respect
yeah,
hugely. I think I became a collage animator because I always wanted to draw, but I never could. I'm so bad at it that I cannot make a thing out of it. So I started to put things together from all over the place to be able to animate things, and that
yeah,
became like the sort of like the sort of thing that I do now. but
mm,
but yeah, animation takes so much work. Like it's for so little, right?
yeah,
For 30 seconds, 10 seconds of something, it took you like 2 weeks if you're going easy, right? Like, and that's a
yeah,
but at the end, I do think it's very gratifying that you have like something that you build yourself in your own vision, in your own style, and your own thing, and it's completely yours. It's kind of like
yeah,
baby projects all over again all the time. Yeah, yeah, I do
yeah.
like it. Yeah. Yes. Do you have any more questions about the
Well, I have
the?
so many, like, but we have to limit it somewhere. Like, I have so many ideas for things like you could explain to people because I know that so many people would be like curious about so many parts of your process. And now it feels like we talked about so many of them, but like, um, yeah, maybe you should have a master class. Like I think we talked about it, like because where you could do like a project from beginning to end. It doesn't have to be like an advanced one, and then everyone who goes in
Ah,
your course they could do all the steps together with you. Like you have a script, maybe like okay, then you develop this, like you do the asset list and all that, and then you cut out the characters and like you do the whole process. I would buy that course immediately.
You know, maybe I will. Maybe I will for a future project. That's actually a very good idea. But it's easier for me, like for example, now that you're with me in the call and whenever we talk, and we have like this back and forward, and you ask me questions. It's easier for me to do it talking with someone than it is for me like to just record something. Something happens when I record by myself that I forget everything about life. I forget everything I've done. And but that is a good idea. I do have a short film that I want to work on. That is kind of it probably would work with that one. Like I think I'm gonna sit on it. But you're right. Maybe going from the very beginning, like writing the script and going through the
Yeah,
process of writing the script. I didn't like this and why. Like documenting in a very informal way the whole process. Yes, that's a
yeah.
good idea. I like it.
Maybe you could put it on Skillshare,
Maybe, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
there you could do it like, yeah, for long stretches of time and all that. But
Yes, in chapters or something like that. Otherwise,
yeah,
it would be like a very long video.
yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that myself at some point. Also because it's fun, it's also a way to give back somehow
Yeah,
to like to do like how I do a video essay basically from idea to like research to writing scripts to like trying to figure out what can you have, like how can you show this and all that.
I would buy that as well. To be honest, like I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you go from the idea that you have on a video to where to look, the research part, where to look, what parts to actually keep for the video, what parts to actually use for writing the script. Then how do you decide like when and where to film
Yeah,
yourself, which parts are going to be visual, which parts are going to be on cam, or if you have like an interview. That's so many layers of stuff.
yeah. But I think that for the script part, I think you already do that for your videos because I think you write scripts a little bit similar because your scripts are based on like facts or like a story that you've researched or something like that. But then you also make it more fun and quirky, so that's another skill set. But I think that part is probably pretty similar.
Probably, but also to be fair, since I know this is like just like it becomes fiction and it becomes a short film, and I put that in my disclaimer at the beginning of every video.
Yeah,
I don't really do a deep research. I did because it's not my intent to be factual. Because I put this in my behind the scenes video for the robot that I have not uploaded yet. Uh, but I had this comment of this guy in the robot video saying that Pathfinder is not supposed to have 8 wheels.
ah,
And I was like, bro, like it's not
yeah,
supposed to have a face either.
yeah. That's funny. That I love comments like that though. I love when people because that to me that tells me something watched it close enough to at least be annoyed by that. Like I think you should see that as flattery. Like
Yeah, probably. But it's like people complaining about, but there's no sound in space in Star Wars. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's no explosions because there's no oxygen in space, and then the Death Star just exploded. You're watching a movie called Star Wars.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's not a documentary about space.
Yeah,
Um, so to be honest, like what you do, like you have way more responsibility in the things that you say than I do. Like I pretty much can say anything because I'm shielding myself in the fact that I'm just gonna do entertainment. But what you do, I've sent your videos to so many people, and but yeah, you should definitely do the whole process
yeah,
for the whole thing. It's so many layers of stuff.
yeah. We should both do it. I think it's because there's a lot out there, but there's a lot lacking as well. I think that we both learn from like a little bit here and there, and I think it's always valuable to have more people explaining how they do it.
Yeah, also because people sometimes people text me on Instagram or things like that, and they are kind of like in shock that I'm so willing to share everything that I do.
Yeah.
But I remember, to be honest, when I everything that I'm self-taught, and I tried to learn this from the beginning, knowing nothing. And when you don't know that you don't know things, it's very hard to find things because you don't know have the words for it. You don't know things that you're
Yeah.
supposed to be looking for, and it's so hard. And the people that I would ask for help in real life, because the YouTube was not like a big deal for tutorials or anything. It was just one thing. And but people that I would ask in person or something like that, or that I would contact, they were really gatekeeping a lot of things. Like they felt
Yeah.
really precious about their information, and it was almost like I worked so hard to learn all of these things for me to just give them to you. And I think I have a residual anger towards that situation. So
I don't get that though, because it
I'm trying
doesn't
to
make
do
any
the opposite.
sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because like even if you can share as much as you want, very few people will be able to do what you can do anyways. Because like you can take a little bit here and there, but you still have to do it your own way. Plus, it's very difficult. It's not like, oh, you told me how to do it, I can just do it in an afternoon. No, there are so many layers of knowledge you have to have before that.
Yeah,
One
and
person I love online, you probably use his stuff as well? Texture Labs.
oh yeah, I love those guys. I always link them. I almost exclusively use Texture Labs, and they give it out for free, and you're able to just donate whatever you want. Those guys, that guy, and his tutorials, and you can download like these amazing templates for After Effects that he does, and
Yeah, it's like I've learned so much from his stuff, and it's like
yes.
he has such a generous approach to it. Like I think that guy deserves some sort of medal, because I think his textures are probably like in like all types of production all over the world, like professional productions, because I use his textures all the time, and his tutorials are so much fun. Because yeah, I love them. It's
Yeah, and
so
everyone that I follow that makes like tutorials that I have on Instagram, or friends that I have that they make this little tutorials about short tutorials about like how to put texture into a map, or how to put texture into text so that it looks printed. They always use some texture from Texture Labs.
yeah,
Everyone uses Texture Labs. Yeah, that guy
yeah,
deserves something in the
yeah,
world.
yeah, definitely,
I appreciate that type of thing so much. And
yeah,
yeah, and they do like DUIK, for example. The DUIK is basically for free, the
yeah,
plugin, and
yeah. That's also amazing.
you can actually download the code so that you can make it your own. Like they don't gatekeep at all. It's
Yeah,
amazing. I'm not gonna do it because it's already amazing. I'm not gonna recode it. But if you are that kind of guy, you can do it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I think we're on the same page right there, because your knowledge is not to be like, they're not going to steal it and do the same thing that you're going to do. They're going to use it to add to what they already want to do, right? So it's going to
yeah,
create something
exactly.
new entirely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But I think it's this competitive mindset is a problem in society in general. Like that we view everything as a competition,
yeah.
and
Instead of
yeah,
like a sharing effort, right?
yeah, it should be for sure.
Yeah, yeah, but totally. I agree 100. It's always so nice talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Like
Yeah.
it's too bad we don't live in the same country. We should have had like a shared office somewhere.
Oh, that would be
You know, like
amazing. Can you
with a
imagine?
studio and everything.
Yes. Yeah, I do miss working with people around. You learn so much from people
Yeah,
around. And whenever you get stuck, it's so easy to just turn around and ask, "What do you think? Does this look good? I'm stuck." And someone would say
exactly.
something, right? Like, "Hey, if you move this," and you get out
Yeah.
of the rod. Yeah, yeah, yeah.